going on, folks? Painless. Ah, yeah. January 20th couldn't have came fast enough. Uh, the 47th President of the United States is here. Been in office a little over a week, and we've seen the drastic changes, folks. Somebody in my comments wanted me to talk about the inauguration, and I said, yeah, I can kind of expound on that, talk about that. It was a little bit over 30 minutes long. Had to go back because I did watch a good portion of the inauguration. I didn't watch any of the theatrics. They said Snoop and Nelly was going to be on there. I didn't even watch that. I don't even know if they were. But I did listen to his speech live, but I had to go back and kind of talk about some points. And I said this, folks. I said this. I've been saying this. One thing Trump said that I found interesting was towards the end of his speech. And he talked about America and how, the people who came here brave, and I've said this, it kind of goes with manifest destiny. Individual rugged individualism. That's a term I heard when I was in college years back. Of course, this idea that the white man, I don't think he necessarily said, he didn't say white men, but, put two and two together, that these men braved a new land. Yeah, there were natives here, but nevertheless, they came here, built, kicked ass, took names, freed a lot of people, freed the slaves, braved all type of uncertainties, and this is what we have. I found that interesting, and it's going and see that type of rhetoric. I'm indifferent to it. That type of rhetoric that Trump said in the latter part of his speech, that doesn't bother me because it's the truth. And I'm not going to get into this black's hell. Yeah, black slavery did contribute to the building of America. And this is my country just as much as any Caucasian man who touts that this is his country, And not to get on the foundational black train, but we are foundation. We were here before the inception of America. That part is not up for debate. But like I said, folks, that is code language. You see, the boomers, the baby boomers and the millennials are two peas of the same pod. They think they're entitled. They don't want to do anything. See, and you look at boomers now and millennials, they really don't, they're more entitled than anything. Boomers and millennials are entitled. That, to me, that's my observation. They're very similar in nature. Now, the boomers fought for a lot of things. They're the biggest generation. And, in about 15 to 20 years, most of them will be deceased, But, and then you have the millennials who haven't fought for anything but to feel that they're entitled to every damn thing. Whereas you have the Gen X. See, I said Gen X, such as myself. We're that last generation with some sense and some idea of getting it out the mud. We know we got to go to work. And a lot of that we got from our baby boomers who got that from their generation. before them. Like, hey, these lights ain't gonna keep themselves on. We got to get our ass out here and make it do what it do. Millennials don't think like that. And boomers are too damn old, entitled. That's why I say, we look at politics now. You know who's going to be, you know, if Trump and Vance make this work, white, well-to-do, well, I wouldn't even say well-to-do, white, decent men, Gen Xers are going to run this country for the next 3 decades, at a minimum. Do you think that they're going to let what happened these last 4 years happen again? See, your Mitch McConnells, your Charles Schumers, your Dave, they got to go. They're the old oligarch, they're the remnant. I equate them to, you see, I equate them to the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons. See, they still beefing. It's like old rappers. They want to stay relevant by creating beef, long-standing beef. Like, y'all been beefing since the early 80s. That shit, and that's without any type of strife, y'all become irrelevant. Your Mitch McConnell's like that, your Joe Bidens, they're irrelevant. Your Chuck Schumers, they're irrelevant. Your Newt Gingrich, he knew to get on. Your Tom DeLays, all those indicteds, senators and Sessions from Alabama, they knew to get the hell on. It's these ones that still try to hold on to power. They're irrelevant. But I say all that to say your J.D. Vance's, who's about my age, he's a combat Marine veteran. Those are the guys that are going to run the country for the next 3 decades at a minimum. That ilk. They're part of that Gen X, probably been cooking for themselves since the age of 8. They've seen it all. They've had the luxury of seeing the 90s, the Tea Party, the neocons. Then they saw this shit show we had for the last 4 years, and they said no. Especially Caucasian men who are, because I serve with these guys. I've served with these type of white guys like J.D. Vance, our vice president. I went to war with white guys like this. And it's different. We had a lot more in common. And I tell you folks, black folks, you talking all this black and brown, and you see how the Browns are seeing how they go. Look, when you're in different parts of the country, when you're in different parts of the world, and you're a black man, if you don't see another brother, guess who you're going to be glad to see? I'll wait. Yeah, a J.D. Vance, a Caucasian man, because at the end of the day, y'all have more in common. Y'all have more in common than Julio and them right there. Or Raphael down wherever you at. Y'all gonna have, I don't know, Rogelio in Manila, in the Philippines. Y'all, you, Tyrone and Bradley are going to have more in common than those other people. And y'all will become brothers. and look out for each other. You know why? Painless, what are you talking about? How do you know? Because I've experienced it. I've experienced it. So I know the mind of a lot of these baby boomers, especially veterans around this age. If they can kick this off, and it looks crazy to folks. See, and see, when you've been in the service, you're used to, like, you got to change, you got to pivot on a second's notice and be cool with it. Like, oh, we got to do this now? Oh, okay, it sucks. Damn, shit. But you got to do it and you move on. You don't get on TikTok and bellyache and cry about how eggs are going up or about how this or that. You just pivot and you adjust. You adjust fire. That's what you do. Because it's life or death. Because the world ain't going to stop because of how you feeling. But yeah, like I said, the inauguration, he wants to, I would say one thing about him putting cartels on as terrorists, because that's right in our backyard. El Jefe is not thousands of miles across oceans. El Jefe is down the damn street. Literally. So I would say it's a good option to keep on the table. Like, hey, we about to get with y'all. But I don't think it's the first option. Because it can get ugly. And I don't know if a lot of people is about it, because these criminal organizations down south have dinero out the yazoo. They are papered up. And when you got paper, you can get armaments, weapons, influence. You can pay for influence, propaganda. But I like the idea of putting these fools on the terrorist list. Yes, because that labels them. So what's a terrorist? What is terrorism? I've always, this is verbatim, and I'm paraphrasing. Terrorism is an act of doing anything for political influence in order to incite some type of fear or confusion. That, in a gist, that's what terrorism is. So I don't see the cartel really doing anything politicized. I mean, one could say, drugs is a, if you want to put the war on drugs, which I haven't heard that in a long time, that's a war. And they do dabble. That is what they do, dabble and distribute narcotics. So maybe, but when you give them that label, that term, that puts them in another category. I would imagine funding and more funding and resources would more go to infiltrating them more, as opposed if they didn't have that term as a terrorist, if you get what I'm saying. That very term of being labeled a terrorist, it's like a RICO act, like that puts you in the crosshairs of the federal government. When you get that RICO, when your little clique or gang or organization gets hit with a RICO, that that turret, that barrel moves straight in front of your face. Once you get that. So once you get labeled a terrorist, the game changes and resources are, they throwing everything at you now. But yeah, so I like that, the idea of, hey, there are only two genders. Can't argue with that because it is. And don't you know, This is how church Negroes, they don't even understand. You are like that. I had a family member send me that shit about the bishop or some, I guess they were Catholic, and they were in charge of giving the presidential prayer or some shit like that. I don't know, but anyway, and out of all, here you are. Here you are. Nobody knows you from shit from Shinola. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And you use your opportunity not to give this our leader of the free world any type of encouragement and prayer and whatever. You want to cap. You want to create some shit where it ain't. You know, have mercy on, you know, those who are other genders, and you know, we don't want. I mean, this a lot of virtue signaling, a lot of bull feces, you know, and it was embarrassing. It was you know, political grandstand. Anyway, I had a family member send me that bullshit, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe this? You know, we got to look out for those people." I'm like, look out for who? You know, we got somebody in our family that's old the fuck well. Look, I don't give a good doggone damn about nobody, man. As a human, yes. But I don't give a shit about their ideology. I don't give a shit that he a man or she a girl and thinks she's a boy. I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a damn about their cause. As a human, yes. But to facilitate and promote your lifestyle, I don't give a good goddamn about that. And I've seen videos of black women trying to pigeonhole and trying to back people in a corner where, you know, we all got somebody like that in our family. Oh, the fuck, well, so what? What's that got to do with the price of tea in China for painless? What? So? That don't make the shit right. But guess what? It's about to be made right. So I support and agreed. I was very happy when Trump said that we're only going to recognize two genders. And see, what I noticed what Trump has done in the last week, he's throwing a lot of shit out there and seeing if it sticks. And I say that because his wanting to end birthright citizenship, you know, which to me is some, you know, circumventing loophole shit. Well, I'm just gonna have a baby here, and because I had a baby here, I am safe. You can't send me back. Bullshit. Watch this. Hold my beer. That's what Trump has done. But as he expected, I'm pretty sure, you know, you have federal judges that are blocking it. They just blocked his financial grant and loan pause, you know, that he ushered yesterday. You know, blocking grants and pausing those types of funding. And of course, he knew this. I'm pretty sure his legal and administrative team knew that federal judges would come after that and halt that. You know, DEI, you know, saying that, oh, I've seen videos of black folks saying he's going to strip the Civil Rights Bill of 1965. First off, he cannot do that. That is a legislative issue that the president can't do. He doesn't have those powers. The president has executive powers, hence executive decisions, you know. All these types of policies he can write. He's just interpreting what certain laws are. He does have the power to do that. He can't and see, this is like the late David Carroll used to say, in which I adopted that type of belief from him. Black folks need to be politically, David Carroll used to say this, black people need to be politically re-educated. And I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. Black folks are ignorant to the political process. Only thing black folks know to do is to show up every 4 years and vote like they vote like they voting who's going to take names when Miss Jackson lead the class for about 15, 20 minutes. Who's most popular, who's swag, like they vote who's going to be class goddamn president. Look at no policies. We saw this devoid of any idea of process, because if they did, they were concerned they would be more in tune in voting in the midterm elections, shit that actually matter. You hear black folks up here, oh, the police, man, these janky judges, these police. Well, in the midterms, that's your time to show naked ass and show out. Go out and vote these crooked judges, these who go and vote for who's going to be the sheriff. If you hate the damn sheriff so much, vote they ass out. But no, you don't care about that. You want to, every 4 years we going to pop out. And that's why. You can't take black folks politically serious at all. And it was really highlighted a couple months ago. But anyway, yeah, so I like that with Trump, he's the two-gender thing, what else, some things he said that was important of course, our military, making it strong, not to go and start shit around the world or to get ourselves involved with shit and start sending billions of dollars a month to things that reap us no benefit, but to have a strong military, a deterrent, which is a political science term, to deter, oh shit, we better not mess with them. Their military is bolstered up. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what Trump is on. Not to go around and get ourselves involved in a meaningless war that we see no benefit. There is no beneficial reason for that Ukraine war for America. Yet we've been spending billions of dollars over there for that, and Trump said that's out. And I'm glad. Great. I love it. And then, the DEI situation. And I've said this, folks. I've been saying this. All these little, I ain't, and I can't tell you how many women I've met in the dating world. Because women love to ask, so what do you do? And I tell them what I do. And then I don't ask them what they do. I kind of sip my drink or take another bite off the chicken wing, keep looking at because we had a sports bar or whatever. And then I'm director of inclusion and I'm a strategist for coordinating a multiculturalism. Okay. Well, that shit is over. That shit is done. And now you got these folks talking about banning Amazon, boycotting Amazon. You can't even... And see, it becomes comical. I told you. A lot of people nowadays, these millennials, See, black folks, yeah, I know. But see, millennials are starting to show their ass too, and they wasn't really on my radar, but millennials have come on my radar. Y'all really showed the fuck out with this TikTok shit. That's where I focus. That's where I wasn't studying y'all for a long time, y'all millennials. But when y'all started that TikTok crying shit, I directed some of my resources to get on y'all ass, and that's where I'm at. You see, y'all, I'm gonna put y'all in the category with a lot of Negroes. Y'all can only sprint. Y'all can only sprint. Y'all don't have the intestinal fortitude, the vigor, the want, the drive to see this shit in its entirety. The long haul, you don't. That's why I said, I painted that picture in one of my last videos about a lot of sisters out here caping for shit they ain't got no big. Y'all are on Hamburger Hill with a half a can of ammunition. One piece of hardtack left. A half a swallow of water in one canteen. Trying to go against this incoming wave. Y'all are through. The people have spoken. You are the minority. You are the minority. You're trying to piss up a rope. It ain't happening. And you're all alone by yourself. And see, what DEI is going to do, this is what I really think this really is, it's really an attack. And I've heard guys say this, Brother BGS. It's really an attack on Caucasian women because they're the most beneficiaries, the more, out of this DEI stuff. Even affirmative action, which kind of falls in the same genre or same category. Because and this is going to change dating. You see, a lot of women are propped up by these DEI positions. And being, and I remember seeing this shit. See, I got out the service right when all this shit started happening. When I was in the Army, we had, they beat us in the brains with essay awareness. Sexual, the A word awareness. Quid pro quo. Classes of, you scratch, they would have scenarios like, is Sergeant Painless, goes to private, whatever the hell, hey, you want that promotion, you got to give me some dome. I'm exaggerating, but it would be scenarios like that called quid pro quo. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. And they beat in the late 90s, early 2000s, they beat us in the head with that. Now I hear some, because I still got some partners, they about to retire out the service. But they say, man, this is on some other shit that we gotta, all this inclusion and the stuff that they teach in these courses, oppressive versus, it's real, it's real weird, And that's what I said. A lot of black folks was mad at DeSantis down in Florida. Oh, they trying to take teaching, and that's another thing under this DEI that Trump talked about eliminating all putting race and gender in every facet of society. We got to get rid of that shit, which we do. And like, you know, black folks is mad at CRT, critical race theory. Oh, they don't want us to know about our history. They want to take it. They want to take it out to school because they don't want to know who we are and all. Fool. And I had to tell a family member, I said, you know why? You know why a lot of these politicians and governors are going after library and taking books out of schools and off the reading list? Because it got that LGBT bullshit latch attached. You see, a lot of y'all allowed that group to hitch to your wagon, to hitch they bullshit to your wagon. That's why Black history is business. And I would say to Negroes, if you don't know who the hell you are, if you don't know who George Washington Carver is, Eli Whitney, Nat Turner, that's your goddamn fault. Because I learned about these black men in school, I learned. Like, I knew who Booker T. Washington was when I was goddamn 6 years old. I used to read the encyclopedias. I used to copy the words of Booker T. Washington when I was like 6, 7 years old. You know why? Because I was taught that. Nobody want to hear about no goddamn who was the first she to throw a fucking javelin. I don't give a shit about who was the first trans to run 100 meters. I don't give a fuck about that. But that's why a lot of it ain't the blacks, it's that perverted shit. That weird shit that a lot of you Negroes don't inadvertently or advertently support. That's why. So that's another thing I liked about Trump. He said, we're going to go off merit. What is merit? Do you have the skill, aptitude? Are you the best person? Not because you're black, Thomas Sowell would talk about this in his books. I still got some Thomas Sowell works. Some people is just better at shit than others. We could talk about Idi Amin kicking all the Indians out. But they were good. They're good at storekeeping or whatever. Commerce, where the Ugandans weren't. You can find works about why the funny mustache man over in Germany exterminated millions of people. It's because they were better at commerce. And the funny mustache man was just a hater, and he wanted to exterminate them, to unalive them. Some people just better at shit than others. We don't hear this shit about when you got all these 6'4", 295-pound black men running up and down the basketball court or running up and down a goddamn grass field every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Nobody has this conversation about, oh, you know what? We need a Korean running back. Hey, man, we're going to find whatever, I don't care. Koreans ain't tripping. They find their niche. One of the best, I think the Atlanta Falcons kicker, he's a Korean. He's a pretty good goddamn kicker too. So this idea of putting people in positions because we need to meet a goddamn quota, that shit is over. It's retarded. It's stupid. And you can, no. No. And it's really a slap in the face. Like, we don't need consent. You see, all that shit. See, DEI and diversity, that shit was probably useful 100 years ago, 75 years ago. But you don't need that shit now. It's obsolete. You don't need it. We're moving to a different type of economy, a way of life. And like I said, it's gonna come a time, man, where I've always seen it. Like, you're gonna look like a goddamn fool talking about my ancestors, some shit that happened 5 years ago. Nobody gives a shit. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I value my ancestors and as family members and recognize, yeah. But I don't need a month for that shit. I don't need to be constantly reminded. You know? And if you're going to do that shit in the privacy of your own home. Stop trying to make everybody submit. And that's the thing. And I'll go so far that a lot of black folks that go this route, they don't believe in free speech. When you got folks talking about, yeah, you come talking that bullshit over here, you might get knocked. See, when a nigga start to, first off, I'm 6'2", 243 pounds. See, and I say all that to say is, I'm not the one to just be ran up and fuck. And I'm from Alabama too, and I grew up in the country, and I know how to handle myself. And you had to coming up. Like, I came out the womb working. Like, my bone density and my dexterity is I'm just saying, like, I'm not soft muscled, soft skinned. Like, you know, I told you I'm a Gen Xer. You know, I grew up doing manual work, hard work, young. So it made my bones harder than a lot, and durable. So threats to me, I prefer to talk. Look, not toot my own horn. I don't even like saying this shit. But all them empty threats don't do shit for me. Because, you know, most likely you're not going to want to see me in a room the size of a bathroom. You know. To certain guys. See, and I say that not I can handle any guy. But what I found is most guys that talk that secondary, you know, well, you come talking that shit, you might get your ass. I look at them and they're not, they're banking on somebody else to do that, not them. So I ain't worried about anybody else. I'm worried about you that even put that in the atmosphere. Yeah, it's some guys that can get with me. I know, yeah. But can you get with me? Since you out here bumping your damn gum and throwing out threats like that. Can you do it though? And that's why I said I've discovered many can't. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't even like talking like that but I just had to illustrate a point. But I'd rather discuss, but not debate. But that's why I said I'm selective of whoever I talk to about this. Because it can go left. And I don't want to go left. I really don't. I'm not about that life at all. You know, I just know how to defend myself. That's it. But, yeah. But it's a new day, folks. It's a new day. The heat is on. On the street. I'm telling you, boy, it's hey. But that's all I got to say, y'all. Painless out.